Real Madrid suffer a brutal wake-up call. The players look like they've stopped buying into Xabi Alonso's ideas. Spanish media are already talking about Zinedine Zidane coming back as interim coach. In Liverpool, a full-blown scandal. Mohamed Salah publicly calls out the club and the manager, and everything points toward a move to Al Hilal. The long-hidden secret behind Manchester United's 10-year collapse is finally coming to light. And Napoli beat Juventus to jump to the top of Serie A. We'll talk about all that and a lot more today, friends. This is Football Frenzy, your daily football fix and a hot rundown of the biggest stories right now. Thanks to everyone who's already subscribed. You're legends. If you haven't yet, drop that royal like, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications, so we really do work with no days off. One thumbs up today, and I'll see you again tomorrow. That's the deal. And as always, if you're watching this over a meal, enjoy your food and enjoy the show. It's becoming more and more likely that David Alaba will play his last season for Real Madrid. The club are not expected to extend his contract, and Saudi Arabian clubs are already circling. According to AS, teams from the Middle East are also closely watching Rodrigo's situation. Inside Real Madrid, there's a feeling that a serious offer for the Brazilian is just a matter of time. Saudi clubs are still working on a long-term plan to bring in Vinicius Jr. as well. As the outlet notes, decision-makers in Saudi Arabia are convinced that at some point Vinicius will move there. They see him as a future face of the league and a key figure in promoting the 2034 World Cup. Another possible target is Antonio Rudiger. Real haven't ruled out extending his contract. Nobody questions his quality or mentality, but there is concern at board level about his physical condition. He's been picking up injuries more and more often. Recently, there was a scary moment off the pitch. A young Real Madrid fan wanted an autograph so badly that he suddenly stepped right in front of Rudiger's moving car. Antonio just managed to react and stop in time. He got out of the car to tell the kid off, understandably, but then couldn't get back in right away because other fans were physically holding the door, trying to keep him there. The defender got visibly irritated, but eventually the crowd calmed down, let him go, and the incident ended peacefully. The life of a footballer isn't just luxury, goals and paychecks. There are stressful, even dangerous moments like this too. Manchester United have been stuck in a long-term crisis, trying and failing to get back to their old level. There are a lot of reasons, but one of the main ones is the ownership and the structure they built. For years, the Glazer family treated the club more like a cash machine than a football project. Dividends came first, sporting success came second. Now Sir Jim Ratcliffe has stepped in, trying to flip that script. He says taking charge of United is about a childhood dream, not a quick profit. The goal is simple: build one of the strongest teams in the world again. Ratcliffe and his team are going deep into the details. According to the Daily Mail, the club has completely revamped its recruitment system. Scouts now work hand-in-hand with data analysts and AI models. Thanks in part to Mike Salisbury, a new director reportedly brought over from Formula One. The data department has hit a new level. The report points out that United's transfer problems started back in 2013, when Sir Alex Ferguson retired. Ironically, some of the criticism now goes toward Ferguson himself, not for results, but for the structure he left behind. Under Sir Alex, everything relied heavily on his instincts, on recommendations from his brother Martin, and on chief scout Jim Lawler. There was no modern system. Even academy scouting was run out of a tiny office at Carrington, with handwritten notes and old-school methods. When Ferguson and his closest staff walked away, the club didn't have a sustainable framework. United fell into a vacuum, and instead of rebuilding the structure, the Glazers tried to patch holes with expensive signings. Only now is Ratcliffe trying to finally put a proper scouting and recruitment model in place. Another big issue is United's global profile. The pressure around the club is insane. Even the toughest players struggle to handle the permanent spotlight. Any sharp phrase from a club legend dominates the news cycle for days. An agent close to the dressing room put it like this: the guys take everything the legends say very hard. They see every clip, every word, and it genuinely angers them. They think, these people wore the United shirt. They know the pressure, so why can't they show a bit of understanding instead of constant criticism? Some players even suspect that members of the famous class of '92 are almost too protective of their legacy, as if they don't really want this United team to succeed, because it might make their own era look a little less untouchable. Because of that, some current players avoid interviews with certain legends altogether. Last season, Lisandro Martinez reportedly came close to confronting Paul Scholes after particularly harsh comments. All of this shows how complicated the relationship between the current dressing room and the club's icons has become, and how that constant criticism can weigh players down instead of lifting them up. Lionel Messi has now won 4 trophies with Inter Miami, more than he did in his time at PSG. Nobody doubts how massive his impact has been. Club co-owner David Beckham said, "He didn't come here just to enjoy life in Miami. Yes, his family loves the city, but Leo came to win. That's who he is. He wants to win. His dedication, loyalty to teammates, the city, the club, that's what makes him who he is. Leo is a winner. It's simple." Messi was named MVP of the MLS Cup. He set a new playoff record with 6 goals and 9 assists. In 2025 alone, he already has 73 goal contributions for club and country, the 9th time in his career that he's gone over 70 in a calendar year. But it wasn't just Leo who delivered the long-awaited title. Sergio Busquets and Jordi Alba both played the final matches of their careers and walked away with the trophy. After the final whistle, both of them were in tears. So what's next for them? Jordi Alba is already a club owner. Together with Thiago Alcantara, he bought a team in Spain's 5th division and wants to take it all the way to La Liga. "I'm excited. This project truly motivates me. I hope in a few years we'll reach La Liga, but it takes hard work," he said. He also added that he doesn't see himself becoming a professional coach. Busquets, on the other hand, definitely does. He's always had a coach's brain. He was basically a manager on the pitch for years. A lot of people expect that one day he'll be standing on the touchline at Barcelona. Their former Spain teammate Sergio Ramos may also be on the move after Monterrey's elimination from the Mexican League. There were rumors about Milan, or even a surprise return to Real Madrid, but those links have gone quiet. Ramos would love one last run at a top European club to make a late push for the World Cup squad, but at 39, that's a long shot. Mohamed Salah lit the fuse after the game against Leeds, giving a very emotional interview to the first TV crew he saw. The Liverpool press officer standing just behind him looked stunned as he spoke. Salah, meanwhile, stayed calm, almost smiling, like he knew exactly what he wanted to say. In one part of the interview, he said, "I like Erling Haaland, but excuse me, I am still the Premier League's top scorer. He hasn't taken the golden boot. I'm the top scorer and the best player. I won the league like that, but now I'm attacked by the media and the fans." It immediately reminded a lot of people of Homelander-style speeches from the boys, or Cristiano Ronaldo's famous interview where he went in on Manchester United and Erik ten Hag. Piers Morgan reacted online, "Wow, maybe it's time for a sit-down interview?" Salah also said he has no relationship with Arne Slot anymore, that the club broke certain promises, and that they don't protect him from criticism. But the line that really set fans off was this: "I've done so much for this club. I shouldn't have to fight for my place every day. I've earned it." Imagine him saying that to Jurgen Klopp. Football doesn't really work like that. The game changes every week. If you want to play, you prove it in training and on the field. Slot has already been criticized for sticking with Salah for too long, despite his rough patch. From the outside, it looks like Salah is struggling to accept his current form and role. He's not scoring, he's not doing much defensive work, and yet he's demanding a guaranteed starting spot. If the goal was to force his way back into the 11, that interview probably had the opposite effect. After such public comments, it's hard to see Slot suddenly rebuilding the team around him. Did Salah hope this would get Slot fired instead? Maybe. But knowing how Liverpool operate, they are more likely to sell an unhappy superstar than blow up the project for one player. The bigger problem is what this does inside the locker room. Instead of focusing on tactics and results, the whole club is talking about Salah's words. One interview turned a club legend into the center of a storm. And this isn't the first time questions about his attitude have come up. Last season, when the team was still fighting for big objectives, Salah was already talking to the press about not getting a new contract on his terms. Slot spent the whole year protecting him publicly, even when he benched him, always choosing soft language. And Salah responded with one of the strongest public attacks we've seen from a star player at Liverpool in years. Salah didn't stop there. He even compared his situation to Harry Kane. I remember Kane not scoring for 10 matches and everyone said, oh, he'll score soon. When it's me, they say, bench him. The reality is that Kane's longest drought was 6 games, not 10. And even when he's not scoring, he does an enormous amount of work without the ball. Pressing, dropping deep, linking play. His value isn't just in goals. Salah, in contrast, has done far less off the ball lately, especially since he reportedly asked Slot last season to give him more freedom from defensive duties. That request turned him into a tactical problem in some matches. Marc Cucurella openly talked about this after providing the winning assist against Liverpool, saying they'd targeted the space Salah wasn't tracking. Salah is a club legend, one of the greatest players in Liverpool history. He deserves a big farewell moment at Anfield, but right now, it looks like he's on track to write a very different ending himself. According to the BBC, several Saudi clubs are pushing hard to sign him, especially Al Hilal, now coached by Simone Inzaghi. The potential fee being mentioned is around 90 million euros. Given his age, wages, and the current drama, that looks like a very good deal for Liverpool. A huge fee for a player who's become the center of a messy situation and is no longer guaranteed to start. The other theoretical option would be to sack Slot and back Salah completely. Some insiders say Steven Gerrard would be ready to come in as interim manager, and another name mentioned is John Heitinga, who has worked with Slot before and has a good relationship with many of the players. Seeing Gerrard back at Liverpool as head coach is a dream for many fans, but ideally when he's fully ready for the job, not as a quick fix in the middle of a crisis. Right now, all signs point to a parting of ways with Salah, rather than another reset on the touchline. Rodri has been on Real Madrid's radar for a long time. He's one of Florentino Perez's favorite non-Madrid players. This season, the Spaniard has missed multiple games through injury, and Pep Guardiola is easing him back in carefully to avoid any setbacks. Even with those absences, everyone at City knows he's the most important outfield player in the squad. After a near slip-up against Fulham, Pep said, Rodri is another level. If he had played the last 20 minutes, do you know the impact? Even without touching the ball, everyone feels safer when he's there. They play better simply because he exists on the pitch. That's exactly the kind of player City missed for stretches of the season. But there's a big problem. The club still hasn't agreed a contract extension with him. According to Defensa Central, Real Madrid are quietly sending the message that Rodri shouldn't rush into signing a new deal, leaving the door open for a move to the Bernabéu. City, for their part, are aware that they might eventually have to say goodbye. They don't want to lose him for free. So one idea floating around is a player plus cash deal. Pep really likes Arda Güler, and according to the report, would be happy to bring him to Manchester as part of any agreement for Rodri. But that scenario looks extremely unlikely. Güler has become a crucial piece in Xabi Alonso's system. And Real don't see a straight Rodri for Arda swap, especially for an older, more injury-prone player, as anything close to fair. City would have to add a very serious amount of money on top. Right now, it's mostly early maneuvering and pressure through the media. But if Rodri doesn't sign an extension soon, expect those Madrid rumors to get louder and louder. From Turin to Naples is over 700 kilometers, hardly neighbors. But the rivalry between Juventus and Napoli is every bit as intense as many classic derbies. Before the match, tensions boiled over. Napoli fans threw stones at the Juventus bus. On the field, though, it was surprisingly calm. The referee showed only 3 yellow cards. This was the first official tactical clash between Antonio Conte and Luciano Spalletti in this setup. And both coaches immediately showed what they're about. Napoli came into the game absolutely ravaged by injuries. Lobotka, Bereshinski, Meret, Anguissa, De Bruyne, Gutierrez, Lukaku, all out. Conte lost 5 key starters, including 3 midfielders, right before the game. So what do you do when half your spine is missing? Conte's answer was to add power and control through the middle by using Rasmus Højlund as a kind of situational false 9. It worked brilliantly. Højlund bullied Juve's midfielders physically, held the ball up with his back to goal like a prime Lukaku, and gave Napoli a reference point in every attack. Napoli tried to avoid chaotic battles and instead built their play carefully from the back. Højlund's role at times looked a bit like Messi at Inter Miami or Harry Kane at Bayern, dropping deep to connect defense and attack, then arriving in the box to finish. In the end, Højlund outshined everyone. scoring twice and sending Napoli to the top of Serie A. With all the injuries, this win was a massive statement and a reminder that Conte teams are built to fight through adversity. Matvei Safonov made his PSG debut this season in a match against Rennes and immediately made a statement. He pulled off several big saves, including one tricky shot that took a deflection off his own defender. Right after that, Khvicha Kvaratskhelia scored, and it was Safonov who launched the attack with a perfect pass out of the back. The famous newspaper L'Equipe gave him a 7 out of 10, the second best rating on the team, behind only Kvaratskhelia. After the match, Luis Enrique praised him. Safonov had it tough. He had no match practice, but he coped. Everyone has a chance. It depends on their dedication and performance. I'm not married to my players. I'm married only to my wife. For players, it's different. Defender Lihad Zabarny didn't play, which led to speculation that Safonov's presence was the reason. Enrique quickly shut that down, explaining that Zabarny was simply ill. L'Equipe journalist Jose Barroso says fans are already asking to see more of Safonov because Chevalier hasn't fully convinced them. He added that Enrique still officially considers Chevalier his number one. The coach personally pushed for that signing. But with performances like the one against Rennes, Safonov has definitely put himself in the conversation. Spanish media are in full-on crisis mode. The message is clear. Xabi Alonso is on the brink. Some outlets are even talking about him leaving and eventually turning up at Liverpool. Real Madrid's defeat to Celta yesterday wasn't just about the scoreline. Celta are a solid, well-coached team, but the way Madrid lost was the real problem. From kickoff until Fran Garcia's red card, it barely looked like Real were trying to win. The performance brought back bad memories of those flat games against Girona, Elche, and Rayo. There was almost no movement in attack, no runs in behind, no combinations. It felt like everyone was just waiting for Kylian Mbappe to beat half the team on his own and score a miracle goal. The whole display was heavy, slow, and emotionless. Thibaut Courtois tried to wake his teammates up, shouting and gesturing, but nothing changed. To make matters worse, Eder Militão picked up another injury and is reportedly out for several months. Now Real have to face Manchester City in the Champions League on Wednesday without Militão, Mendy, Alaba, Coutinho, Carvajal, and Trent. On top of that, Vinicius hasn't scored in 11 matches, and Rodrigo hasn't found the net in 32. Two of Real Madrid's star Brazilians with no goals over that stretch. That tells its own story. Madrid fully deserved to drop points. Yes, the referee had a rough night at the end, but that wasn't why they lost. Fran Garcia's red cards were clear, and Alonso didn't even argue. He was furious with the player instead. Another red card went to Alvaro Carreros for calling the referee terrible, and even assistant coach Enrique was sent off from the bench. Spanish reports are now pushing the idea that if Alonso is fired, Zinedine Zidane will come in as interim manager only. The plan being floated is Zidane steadies the ship until the summer, then a new long-term coach arrives, and Zidane takes over a national team job. That's all for today. Thanks so much for watching, for your likes, your comments, and for subscribing. It really helps Football Frenzy grow and lets us keep dropping new episodes every day. This was your daily fix of football. Peace to your home, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.